Welcome to Screen Scan. Today, we will explore the 2005 movie, The Descent, as we follow a group of ladies who descend into an unexplored tunnel system and encounter unspeakable horrors. The film is a tense and horrifying voyage into darkness. The film's enigmatic conclusion, which differs in the US and UK versions, makes audiences wonder what will happen to Sarah in the end and contributes to its enduring appeal as a contemporary horror classic. Let's dive in. The movie begins with three female friends, Juno, Beth, and the main character, Sarah, participating in a whitewater rafting activity. While they enjoy their adventure, Sarah's husband, Paul, and their daughter, Jessica, are shown waiting on the riverbank. After the activity ends, Beth playfully pushes Juno into the water with her paddle, leaving her behind. When Sarah and Beth's boat reaches the shore, Sarah immediately greets Jessica. Meanwhile, when Juno arrives, Paul meets her and helps adjust her helmet. Though the interaction seems innocent, the camera subtly reveals Juno's lingering gaze as Paul walks back to join his wife and daughter. Afterward, while Sarah and her family were driving home, she noticed that Paul seemed off and tried to talk to him. Moments later, their car suddenly collided with another vehicle carrying a steel pipe on its roof. The impact caused the pipe to slide off and crash through their car, fatally impaling Paul. Although it wasn't shown explicitly, it is implied that Jessica also died in the accident. The next scene shows a child sitting, it was Jessica, in a dark place with a birthday cake in front of them. Sarah suddenly wakes up in a hospital, quickly removing the medical devices attached to her before leaving the room. As the hallway around her darkens, she begins to run in panic. At the end of the darkness, Beth appears, embracing her and delivering the devastating news that her family is gone. The screen fades to black, and the next scene indicates that a year has passed since the tragic incident in Sarah's life. The screen shows the mountain trees as Beth and Sarah sit in their car, stunned by the emptiness around them. Noticing Sarah's silence, Beth suggests that it's okay if they skip the planned activity. Sarah somewhat agrees with this idea but feels she shouldn't be the one to tell Juno, as it seems Juno had planned their activity. The two arrive at the cabin, where preparations for their expedition are underway. They are warmly welcomed by Juno, along with their friends Sam and Becca. Among them is a newcomer, Juno's colleague, a girl with a pixie cut named Holly. As the night deepens, warmth, chatter, and friendship fill the air. The next morning, they set off early for the cave where their activity would take place. Upon arriving, they got out of their car, and the camera focuses on Juno, wherein she's holding a guidebook for the cave. However, she intentionally leaves it inside the car. Before reaching the cave, they passed through various landscapes, including forests and rivers, until they finally discovered the entrance to the cave. Juno led the way into the cave, followed closely by her friends. Once inside, they began exploring the entrance area. While they looked around, Sarah noticed an unfamiliar mark but couldn't share her observation as her friends moved deeper into the cave. This is where the scenes become increasingly uncomfortable to watch. The dark surroundings are illuminated only by the lights on their helmets, and the tight walls create a claustrophobic atmosphere. Uncertain about their surroundings, they lit flares to illuminate the cave. As Sarah explored a bit further, the screen reveals a strange figure on the opposite side. As she continues to investigate, it's clear that Sarah hesitates in her actions. Sensing her unease, Juno approaches her, and they take a break. Sarah resumes her investigation and discovers another passage. Her friends approach her, but Becca hesitates, feeling that it doesn't match her expectations from the book she had read. One by one, they began to enter the small passage. Despite being the first to discover it, Sarah was the last to go in. As she entered, she suddenly found herself stuck, weighed down by the bag containing their supplies. Struggling to breathe, she felt overwhelmed, but Beth tried to comfort her. They moved slowly, inching forward until the path collapsed behind them, blocking the exit they had come through. Panic set in. This wasn't supposed to happen. They were trapped. They managed to help Sarah through the small passage. Although they were now stuck, Becca recalled that the guidebook mentioned 3 possible routes for entering and exiting the cave, and the one they had taken was just one of them. She urged Juno to check the book, but Juno had intentionally left it behind. This sparked an argument, as they realized they hadn't actually entered Borum Caverns, the cave they were supposed to visit. Borum Caverns was a popular tourist destination, while the cave they found themselves in had no name. They had come here at Juno's insistence, hoping to explore a place that no one had ventured into before. Sarah began to wander again in the new location, her flashlight illuminating the darkness around her. Suddenly, she caught sight of a strange figure. When she looked back, it vanished without a trace. They began searching for another passage and soon found themselves at a ravine before crossing into a new area. They somehow managed to cross it through rigging. As they moved through another passage, Beth noticed markings on the walls, revealing that the cave had 2 entrances. As they continued, the passage narrowed even further. Suddenly, Holly slipped and fell, breaking and dislocating her bone. While her friends tended to her, Sarah stumbled upon an old helmet that looked like it had been there for a long time. She then began hearing strange noises. Uncertain and on edge, she turned on her flashlight to locate the source of the sounds, revealing a strange creature that confirmed they were not alone. Sarah told Juno about what she saw, but Juno disregarded it, insisting that there was nothing there. When Sarah shared her fears with the others, Juno confronted her again, saying it was all in her head. Her friends didn't believe her either, assuming she was hallucinating. As they moved forward, they stumbled upon an area scattered with animal bones. And then, the creature Sarah had seen earlier, the crawler, finally appeared before them. Out of the shadows, glimpses of the creatures emerge. Pale, blind, humanoid monsters that dwell deep within the cave system. Predatory by nature, they hunt by sound and are far from welcoming to the intruding women. Without warning, one of the crawlers lunges at them. The first attack is brutal, swift, and chaotic. Holly, one of the bolder and more reckless members of the group, is the first to fall, brutally killed by the crawlers. With Holly now dead, Juno approaches her lifeless body to check on her, but a crawler suddenly appears, attempting to drag Holly's body away. The scene cuts to the other girls, who are desperately searching for a way to escape the creatures. During the chaos, Sarah slips, hitting her head and temporarily losing consciousness. Meanwhile, Juno refuses to let go of Holly's body and engages in a fight with the crawler, eventually killing it with her weapon. In the heat of the moment, Juno senses movement behind her and, fearing another attack, instinctively stabs the approaching figure. Too late, she realizes it's Beth, her friend, whom she has stabbed in the neck, with her blood pouring out. In shock, Juno does nothing to help Beth, realizing she can't save her. The camera lingers on Beth, who grasps a necklace that belongs to Juno. Unable to speak, Juno is overwhelmed by what she's done to her friend. Still in disbelief, she silently leaves, abandoning Beth in her final moments. Becca and Sam are trying to avoid the crawlers and find an exit, and the camera spots one lurking above. Meanwhile, Sarah regains consciousness with only a video camera left. She uses it to survey her surroundings, surrounded by dead animal bones. Hearing the crawlers, she quickly hides and is startled when Holly's body nearly falls on her. She stays silent as the crawler feasts nearby. The scene shifts back to Becca and Sam, who spot a crawler and quickly find a hiding spot. Meanwhile, Sarah remains frozen as the crawler approaches. Fortunately, Juno's distant noise while searching for her friends diverts the crawler's attention from Sarah, allowing her to breathe a sigh of relief. In the next scene, Becca and Sam find themselves near a crawler. They stay as quiet as possible and soon realize that the creature is blind. Juno continues searching and comes across markings on the wall, which seem to indicate a way out. At the same time, Sarah manages to create her own light and resumes her search for her friends. Becca and Sam encountered the crawler again and attempted to fight it off, but Juno arrived just in time to finish it herself. Becca asks Juno about their other friends, and Juno responds that the crawlers took Holly and that Beth is dead, though she's unsure, especially since she's the responsible for what happened to Beth. Afterward, they began planning how to avoid the crawlers and find a way out. Despite Sarah not being with them, Juno was determined not to leave without her. While searching, Sarah found Beth, barely alive with only moments left. Sarah mentioned hearing Juno calling for her and said she would go find her. However, Beth warned her to stay away from Juno, revealing that Juno was the reason she was dying and had left her behind. Before Sarah could leave to get help, Beth handed her Juno's necklace, telling her it was from Paul. This confirmed that Paul and Juno had been having an affair before the accident. Shocked and feeling betrayed, Sarah struggled to process it, but her immediate focus was to escape with Beth. Unfortunately, Beth could no longer survive, leading Sarah to make the heart-wrenching decision to end her friend's life. Sarah continues her mission to find her remaining friends, but this time, her demeanor has changed. She kills every crawler she encounters. In one intense scene, she falls into a pool of blood, an almost symbolic baptism that signifies her complete transformation. No longer the fragile widow, she has become something primal and dangerous. Juno remains convinced that Sarah is alive, but Becca argues otherwise, insisting they can't wait for her. As they realize that a multiple of crawlers is following them, the three of them are forced to separate. With no other choice, Sam begins to climb, seeking another way to escape. Becca and Juno try to stop her, but there's no alternative route for her to reach them. Shortly after, a crawler attacks Sam, leading to her death. In the next instant, another crawler drags Becca away. Juno tries to rescue her, but it's too late, leaving her alone once again. As the crawler that attacked Becca closes in on Juno, she tries to escape by jumping to the other side of the passage. However, she falls into the water and finds herself with nowhere to go. After getting up, she climbs out and moves to another passage, where she finally encounters Sarah. Once the two are face to face, Sarah asks Juno what happened to Beth. Juno tells her that Beth didn't make it and lies about seeing her dead. Sarah knows Juno is lying, yet she refrains from making a fuss about it, not even mentioning Juno's affair with her late husband. As they navigate the darkness with a torch and flare, Sarah and Juno spot a group of crawlers, seemingly waiting for them to make a move. Knowing they can fight back with their equipment, they engage the creatures and emerge victorious. However, after the battle, Sarah turns her attention to Juno, aiming to stab her. Before she can strike, the camera focuses on Juno's necklace in Sarah's hand, revealing the source of Sarah's anger. The tension is thick as silence envelopes them. Moments after, the sound of more crawlers approaches, and Sarah seizes the moment to stab Juno in the leg. Unable to move, Juno is left behind as Sarah uses her as bait for the crawlers. Sarah discovers the cave's exit and runs as fast as she can to her car, trying to escape. After reaching the roadside, she takes a moment to process everything that happened to her and her friends inside the cave. Suddenly, she sees Juno's ghost sitting beside her in the car. This ending is for the US version. In contrast, the UK version shows Sarah waking up still inside the cave, where she sees her daughter, Jessica, with a birthday cake, foreshadowing that she is trapped there forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more exciting content. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.